were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work all by myself? Tell her, being Mary, tell her to help me. And Jesus said, Martha, Martha. The Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Verse 42 says, but a few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Before you go down, can you grab your neighbor's hand and say, choose better? I'm going to look at somebody else and say, choose better. Find somebody else and say, choose. Thank you. Choose better. Be seated all over the house. Choose better. We kind of ended off this last week in maybe circling around this topic about life and our choices that we make. And it was only right that you try to pick up from where we left off, especially if we're going to shine, that we have to understand the choices that we make. And I'm sure everyone knows here that life is about choices. Yeah, life is about choices, and the choices that we make will determine the quality of life that you live. One more time, the choices that you make will determine the quality of life that you live. We all are a sum of our choices. Touch your neighbor and say, your choices. Simple, making good choices would hopefully lead to a life quality that is good. You make good choices, it will lead to a quality of life that is good. You make bad choices, it will lead to a life that is, that's just one person. Let's try that again. If you make bad choices, class, it will lead to a life that is, all right, that's almost 60% of you. I still need your participation. If you make good choices, it will lead to a life that's good, hopefully. If you make bad choices, it will lead to a life that is bad. Yeah. Galatians 6:7-9, in paraphrasing, says something like this: God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, you got Bible scholar. That's what you needed, some word. Whatsoever man sow, that would he reap. If you sow to the flesh, you will reap to the flesh. And if you sow to the Spirit, you will reap everlasting, which suggests if you sow to the flesh, you are sowing to what's temporary. If you sow to the flesh, you are sowing to something, you will reap temporary things. But if you sow to the Spirit, then you're going to reap eternal spiritual things. Sounds simple, no? Sounds simple. That is a simple equation. Good choices, good life. So whatsoever a man sow, that shall he reap. Sounds simple, but the older we get, the more complicated it is to make good decisions. Will somebody with me say amen? The busier we become, the more distracted we are. As the pressure of life increases, our decision making sometimes get a little faulty. the way that we come to our decision, the way we process information, the more that our life becomes overwhelmed, it can affect our decision making. And what we would thought at one time is a bad decision, based on how much our life is overwhelmed, we can make bad decisions or we can select bad decisions when we are overwhelmed by life. Choices that you would never had made when situations were calm, you find yourself making those bad choices when things get a little bit difficult. Are you with me, somebody? It is what's obvious. That's a bad decision. That's a bad choice. On a good, calm day, and you're in your right mind, you can make that decision 10 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. But when life is overwhelmed, when you're overwhelmed, when you are frustrated, when you are distracted, when you are desperate, making easy choices become very difficult. Are you with me, somebody? And sometimes our decisions reflect the place that we are in. If you are in a bad place internally, sometimes we can make some terrible external decisions. Wherever you are, if you are in a miserable place inside, sometimes that your choices on the outside reflect the place that you are in. Are you with me, somebody? Be alive long enough. Be alive long enough. Get a little money. You realize more and more that maintaining that lifestyle and all the different things, that it's not so easy to make good decisions. Are you with me, somebody? And so what Jesus is letting us know, that life is filled with choices. Life is filled with decisions. But he takes it a step further. Life is not only filled with good or bad. That's easy. Life is not only filled with good and bad. Life is also filled with good, with bad, good, and better. Wait, okay, I'll take two. I'll take it. Life is not simply just good and bad. If that was easy, then all of life can be pretty simple. We have bad decisions and good decisions. But what Christ is letting you know, it's not merely just bad decision, good decisions, but they are better decisions. And so in the midst of life, there's not only good decisions, but there are better decisions. And we will succeed at life if we choose better. Man, that's just because what he's trying to establish, sometimes we probably sell ourselves short by just separating, distinguishing between good and bad. But what Jesus is trying to let you know, that there's another level where it's just not good. It's also, are you selecting what's better for you? There's nothing wrong with good, but are you selecting what's better? Action, neighbor, is it better? Look at somebody else and say, is it better? If you don't get the response you want, look at somebody else and ask them, is it better? So this was almost 2,000 years ago. But yet the text is so relevant when you place it in our times, because he is speaking to people that become very distracted with the good, that we can get addicted to good. And he's letting you know that you can be so distracted with good that you miss out on better. Do you know that you might have a good life, but God is trying to say, or Christ is trying to say, there might be. Look at somebody and say better. So look at Mary and Martha. Martha and Mary, actually. You see one laboring, you see one listening. One is working, the other is worshiping. The one is on her feet, and one is at his feet. And so automatically there's a distinction between good and better. Now, the Bible starts with Jesus is visiting Martha and Mary, who is the sisters to Lazarus. And what I want to place in here is the importance of hospitality. Hospitality was an essential part of ancient Hebrew culture. Like being hospitable. I know for us, we look at hospitality like, somebody come over your house, you know, do whatever you want, right? But for them, hospitality was part of their culture where they had to be extremely welcoming to a stranger. They had to make sure that if somebody came in, that they had water to wash their feet because of the dusty road. They made sure that they had food and some kind of preparation. They were taken care of. Oh, Lord. I'm laughing because I can imagine how we treat each other when somebody come over your house. Maybe when they came, when you had a guest, you treated them with the utmost attention. And maybe because they took it so seriously, because they were nomadic people where they was always traveling, so they understand what it feels like to be a stranger. They understand what it feels like to not be being treated well. So they made sure whenever I'm in the position of power, whenever I'm in that position, I would never let anybody else feel the way I felt when I was a stranger. Are you with me, somebody? And so they take it very personal. If you look throughout the Old Testament, I don't know if you know the story about Lot and his daughters when he was in Sodom, and those men came and they knocked at the door and they wanted the man inside, and they was like, send him out. And Lot risked not only his life but his daughter's life. Where he said, send him out. You know, they were trying to go, I guess, kill or do whatever they want to do with him. The men of Solomon wanted his house guests, and Lot said, no, you can't have my daughter instead. That he was willing to say, you can't, I'm willing, I care so much about hospitality that I'm willing to give you my daughter rather than hurt this stranger. Are you with me, somebody? Hospitality was important to them. It's an important feature. Gideon, when he was chasing the Midianite kings, and they was chasing him, and his troops were hungry and thirsty, and he went to his brothers of Sackcloth and Peniel, and they asked them, can you give us some food to eat because we are chasing? Can you be hospitable to us? And the brothers turned him down. It was such a crucial thing or a hurtful thing that Gideon, when he did win, he came back and severely punished them. Because you had to make sure if somebody came to you for hospitality, you had to open your door and receive them. You stopped what you was doing to welcome them. Are you with me, somebody? And so on this backdrop, I want you to place this important of hospitality, why Martha is doing everything she can to entertain Jesus. She wants to make sure the house is ready there to receive him. Now, even from the beginning of this chapter, you see Jesus talking about hospitality. When he sends out the 72 and he tells them to go into different towns, he says, go where you're welcome. Go where you're welcome. Whatever they give you to eat, eat what they eat. Drink what they drink. And if they don't welcome you, shake the dust off your feet. Because that town is now cursed. And if you have peace, take your peace back. Don't even give them peace. Take back your peace. When you are now, I know what some of you are already saying. If you don't let me in your house, I'll tell you, I'm taking back my peace. When you are rejected, he's saying, and they don't welcome you in the house, take your peace with you. Don't leave it there in a place where you are rejected. Well, that's a word. Don't let it go over. Because some of us leave our peace where we rejected. And we are uncomfortable, or we can never get a hold of our life because we can't take our peace with us because we leave it in a place that didn't want it. Tell your neighbor, make sure you take your peace with you. Especially if it's a place that don't want you, you should not leave your peace there. Tell your neighbor, say, take your peace with you. The Good Samaritan, there's another part of this chapter where the lawyer asks, who is my neighbor? So hospitality is running throughout this theme. Martha is caring for Jesus. She's doing everything she can. Now, the Bible doesn't really say exactly what she's doing, but you can get an idea that she's probably was cooking. Probably was cooking. Probably was cleaning. These are traditional times. These are not women empowerment. You see, now, women's rights, where well, I ain't going in no kitchen. I ain't serving no man. I don't care even if it's Jesus. He better order something on Uber. Lord have mercy. Look at her. She is probably cooking, cleaning, getting herself ready. And Jesus is there. This is a big guest. Jesus is coming to my house. So I want to make sure everything is ready for. Imagine if Jesus came to your house. Lord, have mercy. So she's making sure he has everything. The Bible says she was busy serving, cooking. She was doing a whole bunch of things based on the culture. She was what we call multitasking. Handling her business, multitasking, because she felt the pressure of doing all this to entertain. But what happens is now she gets upset because Mary is not in the place she should be. Because I should not be the only one doing this, because customary traditions say Mary's supposed to be helping me also. So she is under the weight and pressure of priorities of the culture. Her anger, her frustration is because she is now under the weight of social culture pressure. Are you with me, somebody? And so one of the first things I want to point out is that part of our pressure that we face in today's times, where we can't make really better decisions, is because of the societal pressure we feel to maybe keep up with the Joneses, or that we had dreams of our life when we were younger, where we have priorities that we set, and we are now trying to live up under the priorities that we set, and it's making us extremely miserable. Are you with me, somebody? Let me tell you the social pressure that when I'm 20, I'm going to make 6 figures. Well, I heard you, Sister Normal. You were like, no. Let's talk. We all had these priorities that we set when we were younger. When I'm 20s, in my 20s, I'm going to make 6 figures. By 25, I'm going to have a nice car. 28, I'm going to be married with some children. 30, I'm going to have a big old house. 35, I'm going to see the whole entire world. Y'all with me, somebody? Yeah, I'm going to retire by I'm 50, because I ain't going to work forever, but I'm going to do so much. By the time I'm 50, 60, I'm going to be relaxed, traveling on the beach,
with a with some tequila. In your little shorts. Are you with me, somebody? We had all these visions of our life, and we fight ourselves. Hold on, this is what we do. We fight ourselves to make sure we try to live it out. But then the pressure of the times, if we are behind time, we start hearing that clock ticking. And now we are on an accelerated pace to make sure that we live out all these things with Jesus in our house. So I want you to keep this in mind. We're doing all of this with Jesus, but we feel the pressure of trying to live up to the priorities that we set. And so the first thing I want to make sure that you put down in your notes to make better choices is make sure you be willing to free yourself from the pressures of social priorities. Make sure you're willing to free yourself from the pressure of social priorities. One more time. Make sure you're willing to free yourself from the pressure of social priorities. You may not say it or write it down, but you feel it. Oh, I can't get no help in here. You feel the social pressure of, what are you doing? Unsaid. It's all around. We suddenly look at everybody else's life. And we measure where we at. And now the pressure we feel to do something. And that pressure to do something can force you to make maybe good decisions. I know it can make you make bad ones. But I'm at least trying to give you the benefit of the doubt that you select good rather than better. Are you with me, somebody? These are all social pressures that we have to be able to mark down in our life just as much as we make ourselves aware of what we have not done and what we want to do. Make yourself sure you are aware of the social silent pressure that you're placing on yourself to do things that other people are doing. Just so you can say you're doing something. Yeah, this is more life. See, this is a life lesson today. With me so far? There are spiritual times, and then there are some life practical times. Today is a life practical time. Nobody said Martha is doing anything bad. It's good, but there's pressure. Are you with me, somebody? We understand now that we moved on because we can see when Jesus is talking to her, right, that she is now frustrated, irritated, resentful. Because with her pressure, she is now looking at what Mary's doing. If you're not careful, your productivity will rob you of peace. Oh, yeah. More productivity, but less peace. More active, but you're more annoyed. Are you with me, somebody? Be careful that you are being more productive, but yet your life is less peaceful. In her mind, busyness meant she was important. And some people are only busy not because they're getting anywhere, but the look of being important. Oh, Lord, have mercy. That we get ourselves tied up in things and being busy, and now your busyness becomes a burden. She is robbed of her peace because she is doing the work by herself. Here's what she said. She's doing the work all by myself. So now she's getting annoyed with the people around her. You can start fighting with family based on what you interpreted them doing. And you can make your busyness make you get annoyed with people because it feels like you're the only one working. Well, man, I can't. All right. Maybe in another year, this will start making some sense to you. That although you are busy, but you are annoyed. Busy, but you're frustrated. Busy, but you're irritated. And you are looking at everybody else and saying, I'm in it all by myself. And now there's friction because she made her productivity such a standard. Hear how rude she is. She even interrupted Jesus. Jesus is speaking, and she interrupts him and say, you see her over there? That her schedule became such an idol to her that she was willing to interrupt Jesus for him to curse out Mary. Be careful that your busyness is not robbing you of peace. Because activity doesn't mean production. And that you have to understand, listening, she rated listening as doing nothing. Look what's going on. She sees Mary at the feet of Jesus listening, and she interpreted that as she's doing nothing. Okay, one more time. She's looking at Mary, listening, and interpreted as she's doing nothing. Be careful if you make listening something that's not productive. Listening is productive. Here's why. Because some of us are quick to do and not quick to listen. Oh, okay, all right. And the reason why you keep getting in trouble is because you are doing, but you ain't listening. Okay, well, yeah. You got to spend. Stillness doesn't mean that you're not moving. Mary is still, but Martha takes it as she's not moving. In fact, she is moving, just still. Oh. Can I explain to you? Listening is active. When you start receiving information, the more information you receive, the better choices you make. Why I can't get no help in here? The reason why you keep making bad decisions is because you don't have the information you need to make better ones. So sometimes it's necessary to stop and listen so you can move forward in your life and stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Because although you are doing, you are messing up. I can't, wow. Martha looked at Mary's listening and thought it was nothing. Be careful that you're not making listening part of productivity. If you want to be productive, you better learn how to listen. Oh, I can't get no help in here. Every one of us should go through periods in our life where there is stillness for us to listen. Before we do, Because if you are busy, she's busy working and she's missing crucial information that Jesus is speaking. She's so distracted by her work, she's missing out on an opportunity to worship. She's so distracted by her labor, she's missing out on her opportunity to listen. Question to you, are you listening? Are you listening? Is your productivity messing with your peace? I'm doing a lot, but I feel so little. Are you with me, somebody? I want you to examine your schedule in life, because although you have these pressures, you have all these pressures that you are under, understand the more pressure you have and under, the more distracted you become. It robs you from your worship. And I'm not saying, hear me, I'm not saying Jesus didn't say what Martha was doing is bad. What he did call her, he had made sure he says, Martha, Martha, making sure that she hears him. That's why he repeated her name, because sometimes you got to talk to yourself twice. Like, come on, Stephen. You ever talk to yourself when you had to call your name twice? When you hear Christ call your name twice, he's trying to get your attention. Not merely just this attention, but your soul attention. It's for emphasis. Martha, Martha. I'm not going to rebuke you for working. I'm not, because what he's saying, what you are doing is not bad. It's just that you can do something better. Are you with me? I got 10 more minutes. I don't mind what you're doing. What you're doing is not bad. Because we have some type A personalities. I don't know about if you know type A's and type B's. Type A personalities is that they're managers. They got to do it right now. They have to do it this right minute, this minute. They're very schedule orientated. And it's like, come on, we got to do this. Any type A's in this? Type A's. I was reading up on it this week, and type A's will see a mountain and say, I gotta climb it. Type B's see it and rest on it. And be like, oh, I got shade. Type A's are the type of people that you have to have some form of schedule. There has to be time management. There has to be something that they do. There has to be, listen, there's no off schedule. I got to get this done. I got to get it done. Anybody in here? Now, what he's saying, I don't mind type A. Because, in fact, we all need some A too. We need some work. Now, let's be real. There are some people that don't work at all. But what he's saying is, Martha, Martha, you are occupying yourself in too much things. You are distracted by too many things. There are a few things. Then listen what he does. He narrows it down. There are a few things that you need. No, there is one thing. Oh, that just went over some people's head. No, all the things. There are few. You are being distracted by a lot of things. There are a few things. Then he says, no, there is one thing. Because in Jesus' mind, the way that he prioritized things, he understands that there's really only one thing you need to be worried about. Can you put another little note? Learn how to make the main thing the main thing. Sometimes we have to prioritize our priorities. Yeah, put that in your note, put that underneath. Because the thing you are worrying about is probably not really the main thing. I like how Jesus, he says, Martha, look at what you are distracted by. There are a few things. No, there is one thing. There is one thing that is a necessity. He's saying there's one thing that you really need. Everything else is disposable. Oh, Lord. In your list, when you're trying to prioritize your life, understand what Jesus is saying. There are a lot of things that are important, but there's only one really thing that's necessary. And if you simplify your life where you just put all your attention towards what's necessary, you will be stress-free. There's some arguments in your life and some people in your life that you are bound to bother you. And he's saying, no, they are not the main thing. You need to learn how to cut those off. I can guarantee a lot of your stress is attached to things that's not really important. Why I can't get no help in here? Yeah, you evaluate your life. List the things that you are upset or annoyed by or have you frustrated, and you will realize that it's not even the main thing. He says, Martha, Martha, you are distracted. Martha, you're distracted. Can you admit, maybe I've been a little distracted? What I thought the social priorities that I needed to do, that I'm held bound by it, because here's what she really wanted to be at the feet of Jesus too. She really wanted to be listening with Mary too, but felt the pressure that she had to do everything else. And we get mad at people that's living out the life we want with less work. Man, 1 year from now, this will make sense to you. We can't handle, if I want to be in that position, then I'm praying to God, Lord, can't you tell her to move to come be miserable with me? Let her get back in her place just like me. But Mary realized that if you're going to get what you need, sometimes you got to break the rules. That you can't allow yourself to be restricted by culture, by what's necessary for tradition. You got to break the rules in order for you to get ahead. I know I should not be at the feet of Jesus, but I cannot miss out on this opportunity. I'd rather the work stay and I be still at his feet. Ooh. He says, Martha, Martha, 5 more minutes. Martha, Martha, you're distracted by too many things. Your sister Mary choosing the better. Here's how you know you choose the better. What she's chosen will last. Don't miss it. Hear what your Bible says. Few things are needed. I'm here to tell you, in your life, there are few things that you need. Don't let the commercials, don't let your neighbors, don't let your friends say, pressure you into thinking you need a lot of things. Because you will look at your life that you have and think it's not worth anything, because in comparison to everybody else, And the life that you've gotten, that God has given you, you'll be so annoyed at God. Or take it out on your parents and say, maybe if I was born into a rich family, maybe if I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Can't get no help in here. And it will make you curse the day you was born in resentment and envy because you are thinking that you need more stuff. And Jesus is here telling you there are a few things that you need. I'll boil it down to you. There's one thing that you need. Mary's chosen and is better. And what I'm giving her, nobody can take away. This is how you choose what's better. Choose what won't rot, what can't be stolen, what can't be taken away from you. She's chosen to hear the words that I say. Everything you else doing, Martha, all that stuff won't last. You can't take none of that cleaning with you. And that cleaning won't help you with tomorrow's problems. But what Mary decided to do is she knew that my words are life. So I'm going to sit here at the feet of Jesus. Let me tell you what you do there. It starts at the feet of Jesus. The position that you need to take in life where you want to choose better, always begin at Jesus' feet. Oh, that's Jesus' argument was that it's not that Martha was distracted, but Mary was giving me my right attention. Hospitality is not about the food you make. It's about the attention you give. Hospitality, what your guests want. Because some of you give them something to drink and you'll go in the next room. You cook food and you put it on the table and be like, yeah, go. The fridge is right there. Help yourself. Take it out on your own. But what Jesus was establishing, what your guests really want, more than the food, he wants your attention. Why I can't get no help in here? Greater than food. He came over or she came over for a reason. I can't get no help in here. And to keep God's attention, he understands how much we do in ministry. And he loves that. But he rather that you give him attention in the morning, attention in the afternoon, attention at night. If you give God, Christ, attention, you might be working for God but miss God. You caught up in God's work and miss the God of the work. Yeah, we caught up in ministry, but miss the Christ of the ministry. Some of us are working based out of routine and not out of relationship. Oh, Lord. Because we've been doing it every single Sunday or Monday, we're used to it, but not used to being in relationship with Jesus Christ. What he's letting her know is, yeah, Martha, you're doing all this work. You're doing all this work, but what I really want is your attention. Can I get some time for you to sit down and listen to what I got to say? Here's what he's saying. I came all the way to your house, and you're busy working. Think you're trying to make things right for me. Here's what I want. All I need is your time and your attention. The food can wait. I came to your house. I know you want to clean the bathroom and make things right for me. I know you want to cook and make things right for me. But understand, what Mary is doing is what I want. I want your undivided attention. And once you give me your attention, then you can go out and do everything you need to do. But check with me first. You want to know how you choose better? Check with God first. Stay still for a minute at his feet. Talk to him a little bit at his feet. You can be doing good things, but we are distracted. We are a culture that's been distracted by the good without giving the attention to the better. Society, we are fighting for attention. That's in our phones, the news, apps. All of these things are trying to keep your attention there. And once those things pop up, that's why you want alerts. That's why they give you alerts so you don't miss anything. If I can hold your attention, and now they even have part of your iPhone where they tell you how long you've been on these social apps, how much time you're wasting. What Christ is saying, can I get a little attention? Can I get some of that time? I'm in your house. It's not that you have to come and find me. I'm in the same room as you. I can't get no help in here. I'm here in your house. I came over for you, and you're doing something else that I know you're saying is beneficial to me. But what I'm trying to tell you, I don't need all of that. Sit here and listen. Nothing is wrong with working. Nothing is wrong with laboring. Nothing is wrong with being on your feet. But you got to be able to listen, to worship, to be at my feet. Then you start talking about your life being balanced. Ultimately, that's what we all want. We want a balanced life where we know how we can divvy up our time. But I know what goes first. If I came to your house, can I have some attention? Touch your neighbor and say, choose better, choose better. Choose better. Choose better. And that's all I wanted to come here to say this afternoon. In life, we are bombarded by different options. Good, bad, better. And if we choose better, our life automatically has to get better. Are you with me, somebody? I'm not getting rid of Martha. He didn't rebuke her and says, stop that. He's just saying, no, Martha, nothing wrong with your work. You're just not making a good choice right now. Give me the attention. Because what I give you can't be taken away. Are you with me? Stand everywhere. Stand everywhere. Prioritize our lives. Some of you are coming up. Now I know some this spans all ages. All ages, young, middle age, senior. That your life still needs some organizing. Are you with me, somebody? Tuesday we laid out how our lives can get caught up in routines. And we do the same thing every single day. When we eat lunch, when we eat breakfast, the time we wake up, when we start thinking about lunch, when we go to lunch, the time we go home, what we watch on TV, our lives are daily routines. And in that, I'm asking, in all those choices that you're making per day, are you choosing what's better? Are you choosing because you're used to? Christ wants attention. And I dare you to just slow down and be still. Being still is productive. Taking moments out of your day and just stopping to reflect, to think, to prioritize. You know what? I can get rid of this. It really ain't worth it. Can add to the peace in your life. A life without peace. Are you with me, somebody? Look at your neighbor and say, choose better, choose better, choose better, choose better. Look at somebody and say, choose better. And you know what the answer is already. Your attention. Stillness in this season. If you allow God, if you allow Christ, give him the attention you need, he would take you further than you wanted to ever go. He'll take you further than you ever needed or wanted to go. Choose better. I'm going to pray today. This house is of the same. It seems as though we are all one. But I want to pray for your priorities.